When President Ibrahim Traoré took the first bite of his evening meal, he sensed something was terribly wrong. His blood seemed to freeze in his veins. A burning sensation gripped his throat, followed by a heavy pressure in his chest. The dining room fell silent, every eye fixed on him. He had been poisoned. But by whom? The guards, the chefs, his trusted advisors. Worst of all, would he ever see the sunrise again? The dining hall of the presidential palace in Ouagadougou was typically a place of calm and order. That evening had begun no differently. After a long day, President Traoré sat down to dinner with several close advisors. "We're opening a water project in the northern region this week," said Economy Minister Kalibou, reviewing his notes. "The villagers are eagerly awaiting your visit." Traoré nodded, spearing a piece of traditional Burkinabe rice and fried chicken. "This drinking water project is the 32nd of the 50 we promised," he said, raising the fork to his mouth. "To reach our goal, we need to—" He stopped mid-sentence. A fiery pain seared his throat, and a crushing weight settled in his chest. His vision blurred, and a ringing filled his ears. "Mr. President, are you all right?" asked Interior Minister Kabore, alarmed. Traoré couldn't respond. He reached for his glass, but his trembling hand knocked it over. "Something was horribly wrong. The president has been poisoned," shouted Kalibou, leaping to his feet. "Call a doctor." Chaos erupted in the hall. Guards rushed in. Ministers stood, and voices clashed in a cacophony. Traoré fought to stay conscious as the world grew hazy. "Seal the palace," ordered Security Chief Ouedraogo. "No one enters or leaves. This is an assassination attempt." Kabore knelt beside Traoré, who was now shaking and struggling to breathe. "Hold on, Mr. President. Help is coming," he whispered. The palace medical team arrived within minutes. Dr. Zongo examined Traoré's pupils and checked his pulse. "It's chemical poisoning," he said tensely. "He needs to be taken to the hospital immediately." The last thing Traoré heard before losing consciousness was Dr. Zongo's urgent voice. "The poison is spreading fast. We're running out of time." The special ward of Burkina Faso's Central Military Hospital was locked down under heavy security. Armed soldiers patrolled the corridors. In a sealed room, Ibrahim Traoré fought for his life, connected to machines monitoring his vital signs. Outside, news of the poisoning spread rapidly. Hundreds gathered to pray, and on social media, pray for Traoré trended globally. "It's the work of Western powers." Some protesters shouted. Traoré's push for independence threatened them. Others countered, "No, it's traitors within snakes in the palace." Inside the hospital, Security Chief Ouedraogo, Interior Minister Kabore, and Prime Minister Diop convened outside Traoré's room. "What's his condition?" Diop asked, his face etched with concern. "Critical but stable, doctor," Zongo replied, holding a report. "The poison is highly sophisticated. Lab analysis is ongoing. But this isn't something an ordinary person could produce." "This is an assassination attempt," Ouedraogo said, lowering his voice. "And it's likely an inside job. Who prepared the president's food? Who was at the table? We need to investigate everyone." "We must stay calm," Diop urged. "Panic and accusations will destabilize the country. The priority is the president's survival and national stability." Kabore nodded. "But the investigation must begin. Everyone in the palace is a suspect. Chefs, advisors, guards, servants." "I'm afraid," Ouedraogo added grimly, "that includes us." The corridor fell silent. The three men exchanged wary glances. Trust had become as dangerous as a bomb dropped on the palace. "We need an impartial investigator," Diop said. "Someone from outside." "But who?" Kabore asked. "Who can we trust?" In a modest home in the suburbs of Ouagadougou, 63-year-old Maurice Sankara listened to the radio. "It is confirmed that President Ibrahim Traoré has been poisoned," the announcer said. "His condition is critical." Sankara exhaled deeply. 3 years earlier, one of Traoré's first acts as president had been to dismiss Sankara, the former intelligence chief, accusing him of collaborating with the French. Sankara had been sentenced to house arrest, regaining partial freedom only in the past year. Though still under surveillance, his phone rang, interrupting his thoughts. "Maurice, they'll contact you," said a former colleague. "Be ready." "Who?" Sankara asked, surprised. "The palace. They'll ask you to investigate the poisoning." Sankara laughed bitterly. "That's absurd. Traoré hates me. He accused me of treason." Maybe the voice replied, "But right now, he can't trust anyone inside. Your known animosity makes you the perfect choice. If even you can prove you didn't want him dead, he'll find the real culprit." The prediction proved correct. The next morning, a knock came at Sankara's door. Outside waited 2 cars from the presidential convoy. "Mr. Sankara, you're needed," said a young officer. Sankara nodded, expecting this. He dressed quickly and was driven to the military hospital. In the corridor, Prime Minister Diop's security chief Ouedraogo and Interior Minister Kabore awaited their faces, a mix of concern, suspicion, and unease. "Mr. Sankara," Diop said, extending his hand. "Thank you for coming." Sankara didn't shake it. "Did I have a choice, Mr. Prime Minister? I was accused of treason and now you need my help." "The country needs your help," Kabore said. "The president is in critical condition and someone tried to kill him." Someone from within, Ouedraogo added. "The food was prepared and served in the palace. Everyone is a suspect." Sankara's gaze was cold. "Why me? You isolated me for 3 years. Traoré ruined my career and reputation." That's precisely why Diop said, "If even one of the president's greatest adversaries wants to save him, we can find the true culprit." Sankara considered this. It was a chance for revenge. If Traoré died, his life might return to normal. Yet this was a cowardly attack, unworthy even of an enemy. "What happened?" he asked. "Tell me everything." "Yesterday, during an official dinner, the president showed signs of poisoning after his first bites," Kabore explained. "Lab results suggest a rare exotic poison. We're investigating everyone in the palace." "You have full authority," Diop said. "Access to records, personnel, security footage. But report to us first." "We don't want panic," Ouedraogo added. Sankara nodded. "Can I see the president?" The 3 men exchanged surprised glances. "Why?" Kabore asked suspiciously. "To understand the poison," Sankara said. "Its symptoms, effects, and severity will hint at its type and source." Under tight security, Sankara entered Traoré's room. The president lay pale and defenseless, hooked to machines, the same man who had exiled Sankara 3 years ago. "Give us 10 minutes, Sankara told the medical staff. "Alone." Sankara approached the bed. Traoré's eyes were closed, his chest rising faintly. "You know, Mr. President," Sankara said softly, "I never liked you. When you dismissed me, I wished you dead, but not like this." He paused. "It's more honorable to defeat an enemy face to face than to poison them in the shadows." The monitors beeped steadily. Traoré's condition was stable, but critical. "Who poisoned you and why?" Sankara murmured. "I'll find out. Not for you, but for my honor." Suddenly, Traoré's eyes fluttered open. Struggling to focus, he recognized Sankara. "You," he whispered weakly. "It was you." "I didn't poison you," Sankara said quickly. "I'm here to save you." "Why?" Traoré asked, barely audible. "Because whoever did this is harming Burkina Faso," Sankara replied. "And I don't betray my country." Traoré's eyes closed again as he slipped back into unconsciousness. Sankara left the room deep in thought. "What did you learn?" Ouedraogo asked in the corridor. "The poison is complex," Sankara said. "Likely lab-made by a skilled chemist. The symptoms, burning throat weakness, trembling, mental fog, suggest it wasn't meant to kill." This was a warning, a message. "From whom? Why?" Ouedraogo pressed. "That's what I'll find in the palace," Sankara said. "I need information on everyone. Chefs, waiters, guards, advisors, cleaners, everything. We've prepared files." Ouedraogo said, handing him a tablet. "Details on all 342 palace staff." The east wing of the presidential palace became a temporary investigation hub. Sankara, joined by 2 trusted former intelligence officers, pored over files. First, I want to understand the food chain, Sankara said. How is the president's meal prepared and delivered? Ouedraogo summoned the palace chef Bamana, who stood trembling. Mr. Bamana, Sankara said kindly, we don't suspect you. Just explain the process. Bamana relaxed slightly. I've worked here for 14 years, serving 3 presidents. I prepared the president's meal as always. Rice, fried chicken, vegetables, his favorite. Where do the ingredients come from? Sankara asked. The palace farm, Bamana said. For security, all food is grown, specially and inspected. And after preparation, who delivers it? Sankara pressed. The waiters, Bamana said. Last night, Sulaiman brought the food to the president's table. He's been a trusted waiter for 8 years. Sankara took notes. Who was at the table? Interior Minister, Kabare Economy. Minister Kalibu Security. Chief Ouedraogo, Foreign Minister Zita, and the President Bamana replied. Sankara dismissed the chef and turned to Ouedraogo. Find Sulaiman immediately. But Sulaiman was gone. He had vanished since the previous night. His house empty, his phone off. Here's our suspect, Ouedraogo said. He committed the crime and fled. Sankara shook his head. Too obvious. Sulaiman's likely dead. He may have delivered the poison. But we need the mastermind. Where do we start? An assistant asked. Sulaiman's family friends, Sankara said. Who did he meet recently? Any unusual purchases, a new phone car, large bank deposits. The team searched Sulaiman's home and found an envelope hidden in a bedroom compartment containing $10,000 in foreign currency. Evidence, Ouedraogo said. But from whom? Give me the palace's security footage from the past week, Sankara ordered. In the security room, Sankara's team reviewed hours of footage tracking Sulaiman's movements. Stop, Sankara said suddenly. Last Tuesday, 14:32, Sulaiman's talking to someone in the palace's back garden. The figure on screen was Hamidou Savadogo, a foreign relations advisor. Zoom in, Sankara said. Savadogo was handing Sulaiman a small envelope. There's the money's source, Ouedraogo said. Maybe Sankara cautioned, but I'm not convinced he's the poisoner. Bring Savadogo in. Savadogo was found in his office in the palace's west wing. In the interrogation room, he appeared calm. Mr. Savadogo, Sankara began. What did you discuss with Sulaiman in the garden last Tuesday? What? Savadogo said, feigning surprise. Oh, I gave him a small gift. His mother was ill. $10,000 is quite generous, Sankara said. Savadogo's expression didn't waver. It's my money. I can do what I want. Of course, Sankara said, but the timing is curious. Sulaiman gets money. The president is poisoned, and Sulaiman disappears. Explain that. Savadogo shifted uncomfortably. I didn't poison anyone, and I don't know where Sulaiman is. Then why did you withdraw $50,000 and $1,000 from an overseas account 2 weeks ago? Sankara asked, producing a document. And 3 hours ago, you booked a hotel in Paris, planning to flee. Savadogo stood abruptly. I was just a middleman, I swear. Who's middleman? Sankara asked calmly. I can't say, Savadogo stammered, sweating. They'll kill me. Sankara leaned forward. If the president dies, this is assassination. You'll face life in prison, or worse. Who hired you? Savadogo hesitated, then broke. Pierre Dumont, an official from the French Foreign Ministry. We met at a Paris conference 2 months ago. He offered collaboration. What kind? Sankara pressed. Influencing Burkina Faso's Western policy, keeping Traoré from aligning with Russia or China. Gathering intelligence, Savadogo said. They paid me $5,000 monthly. Then they asked for more to poison Traoré. To kill him, Sankara asked. No, to make him sick, Savadogo said. The poison wasn't lethal. I swear. He'd be ill for weeks, and the Prime Minister would sign agreements in his place. What agreements? Sankara demanded. Returning gold mining rights to French companies, renewing the military base agreement, new economic partnerships, Savadogo said. Where's Sulaiman? Sankara asked. I don't know, Savadogo said, trembling. I gave him the poison to put in the food. He was supposed to escape after he was paid too. Later, Sankara briefed Prime Minister Diop Security Chief Ouedraogo and Interior Minister Kabore. So, the French Diop said thoughtfully, they're unsettled by our independent policies. Savadogo's in custody. Ouedraogo said, but the real culprits are beyond our borders. We're searching for Sulaiman, Kabore added, but he may have fled. He didn't flee, Sankara said firmly. They killed him to cover their tracks. What now? Diop asked. Go public. Not yet, Sankara said. Wait for the president's recovery. I have a plan. Sankara proposed luring Pierre Dumont to Burkina Faso. Savadogo would inform Dumont that Traoré's condition had worsened, and that Prime Minister Diop had assumed temporary control, ready to sign the agreements. Dumont would come and they'd catch him. Risky, Kabore said, concerned. But if it works, we'll have proof of French interference, Sankara said. And Traoré will emerge stronger. At the hospital, Traoré's condition was improving. The poison's effects were fading, and he regained consciousness intermittently. Sankara visited twice daily. On the third day, Traoré was awake long enough to speak. How do you feel, Mr. President? Sankara asked, sitting by the bed. Like I've been hit by a truck, Traoré said weakly, but alive. Who did this? Sankara recounted the investigation, Sulaiman Savadogo, and Dumont's involvement. Traoré listened silently. So, the French still want to control us, he said finally. Our independence threatens them. We have a plan to catch Dumont, Sankara said cautiously. It's risky. Tell me, Traoré said, his eyes sharpening. Sankara outlined the trap spread false news of Traoré's worsening condition, even his death, to draw out the conspirators. Do it, Traoré said firmly. We need to expose those who want to control us. The plan was enacted swiftly. The Ministry of Health announced that Traoré's condition had deteriorated later, claiming he was on life support. Savadogo, from his cell, sent a controlled message to Dumont, stating the president was likely to die soon, and that Diop was ready to sign the agreements. Security forces were on high alert secretly. A special operations team stood by under Sankara's command. 2 days later, international media reported the false news. Burkina Faso President Ibrahim Traoré has died. The effect was immediate. In Ouagadougou, thousands took to the streets, mourning and enraged. Within hours, a diplomat from the French embassy, Pierre Dumont, posing as an assistant, arrived for a condolence meeting with Diop. In a prepared meeting room, Diop, Sankara, and 2 security officers waited. Dumont entered, his face a mask of feigned sorrow. Mr. Prime Minister, he said, on behalf of France, I offer condolences for President Traoré's loss. Thank you, Mr. Dumont. Diop said, please sit. We have matters to discuss. Dumont glanced at Sankara. This should be private, no. Mr. Sankara is my security advisor, Diop said. Our topic is security. As you wish, Dumont said, uneasy. Mr. Dumont. Diop continued. It's kind of you to come from Paris, especially since you hold no official position. Dumont's face tightened. I'm a senior diplomat. No, Sankara said, opening a folder. You're a French intelligence operative, conducting activities in our country. Last night you spoke with Savadogo for 20 minutes. We recorded it. Sankara played the audio. Dumont's voice was clear. Is Traoré really dead? This is great news. I'm coming to sign the agreements. Dumont paled. This could be fabricated. Mr. Dumont, Diop said sternly, you're charged with attempting to assassinate a head of state. Dumont stood frantic. I have diplomatic immunity. You're no diplomat, Sankara said. You're part of an assassination plot. The side door opened, and Ibrahim Traoré walked in. Pale but upright, Dumont froze. Impossible, he stammered. I'm stronger than you thought, Mr. Dumont, Traoré said calmly. And so is Burkina Faso. Dumont was arrested and exposed to the international press. The French ambassador was summoned and forced to issue a statement claiming Dumont acted alone. Few believed it. Traoré addressed the nation, framing the poisoning as an attack on Burkina Faso's sovereignty. This incident shows that independence is a daily struggle, he said. But if we root out betrayal and recognize true allies, No external power can defeat us. In a surprising move, Traoré appointed Sankara as National Security Advisor, entrusting his former adversary with a critical role. After a press conference, the two were alone. "Why trust me?" Sankara asked. "I could have betrayed you." Traoré smiled. "You didn't. I knew your love for Burkina Faso outweighed your hatred for me." 6 months later, Burkina Faso stood stronger. The French military base was gone, and mining rights were restructured. Traoré and Sankara worked together to advance the nation's independence. One evening, on the palace balcony, Traoré turned to Sankara. "Sometimes the greatest enemies become the best allies." Sankara nodded. "Because a true enemy is honest. Their motives are clear." "Exactly," Traoré said. "Dismissing you 3 years ago was a mistake. We shared the same goal: Burkina Faso's independence." "Perhaps the poison was medicine," Sankara mused. "The difference between poison and cure is often just the dose." Traoré gazed at the horizon. "And sometimes truth is both poison and cure." United by the poisoned truth, the former enemies stood side by side, guiding their nation toward a safer future.